Today we are going to the DDR, East Germany, not that Dance Revolution. And we are going to look at the Vermona Piano and Strings, a cool synthesizer from the late 70s, has cool wooden ends. Herman, yeah, so this is a piano and strings synthesizer. It feels a lot like a Krumar from the same era. It has two sections, piano, which they call percussion, and strings, which they call strings. It has a sustain control, it has a sustain switch, it has a summer control, which is really like the closest to an envelope control you have, which is really useful. And you can see mine's very worn out. In the percussion section, you have three controls, which are piano, clavichord, and spinet, and each of those help you shape the sound. And it's actually pretty flexible. And on the strings, which I think is the better part, you only have cello and viola, which give you basically think of it like as bass and treble. It's still quite useful. Within each of the sections, you have a direct, which gives you kind of the raw, synthesized pattern, and then you have a slow on the percussion, and then you have core 1 and 2 on both of them, and core is choir, so I guess it's more of a rich sound. Good indicator as to how the sustain and long switch works. One thing that's notable about this is how loud the key bed is. I'm playing this in my quote unquote studio. It's pretty loud, and you can still hear the key throws over the instrument. But I opened this one up, and I don't think this keyboard has actually been touched by human hands since being built. So it's actually very high quality, thinking that it comes from East Germany, where nobody's thinking about socialist countries as the bastion of quality. I think it's coming through that the percussion section allows you to do some good controls. The piano adds some richness. The clavichord gives it a clav, harpsichord feel more like an organ, and then the spinet gives it more of a upright sound. So the piano is trying to be more of that deep grand piano. The spinet's an upright, and the clavichord gives it more of that clavy tone. It's flexible. It's not great, meaning there's not a huge dynamic range, but I find everything kind of thrown to the right for both the piano and the strings. Just sounds the best. It's really giving it the most gain out of the system and making it sound just like more analog. And for me, like that's kind of the tone I'm looking for. The short version of it, the non-sustain, is really not very useful to me. I just think it sounds kind of cheesy. Like, but I do think there's like a lot of good sounds here. It does have a good analog feel, and if you sample it and take it down a octave, you can get some really like rough bass out of it. And then the upper channels are nice, and if you put a little bit of attack or put some reverb on it, it becomes very dreamy and fun. So I'll probably play with this with like a MIDI verb or some other effects to just show how even with hardware it's very good. So you can hear this is a keyboard with some, variation, but it's really a theme. It's not the widest, it's not the richest thing. This would never, ever, ever be your sole synthesizer, but it does have a lot of cool appeal. It definitely looks good in the studio with the collection because it does have that old school vintage look. And ultimately, I think it's a fun keyboard to have as a relic of Eastern Bloc, but not the world's most flexible synthesizer at all. I find that I will play with it more and more, and I do wish that it did have a little bit more control on it, but absolutely with sampling, I can do whatever I want with it, and also effects like putting some sustain and some envelope pedals and whatnot. You can do some good stuff with that for sure. So I hope this was interesting, and do like and subscribe if you want to hear more content like this. I've got too many more things to show you.